Hi everyone, I'm going to give an introduction to PyPrimeMesh. PyPrimeMesh is a meshing library that we have in PyAnsys. It uses the core meshing technology that is embedded across Ansys flagship products. And you can use these meshing tools directly within Python thanks to PyPrime. PyPrime allows to generate surface and volume meshes of several types and using parallel processing. It also allows you to apply a range of sizing controls to control the mesh distribution. It allows you to create workflows and automation thanks to having these capabilities in Python, of course. It allows you to use wrapping methods to extract and mesh the regions. It allows to modify connectivity of the topology and the meshes. And finally, it allows you to import CAD files and to export the results of your simulation to the different Ansys solvers. PyPrime the architecture is something like this. It's basic. PyPrimeMesh is a Python client that allows you to visualize through PyVista the results of your meshing. But it's important to know that in the end, it's a client for a service that is included in the installation, on the Ansys installation. And the PyPrimeMesh library serves this library. We have several examples in our documentation. I encourage you to check them out because they are basic examples of many of the functionalities for PyPrime. Some of these examples cover wrapping, polymesh with inflation, quad shells, connecting topology and meshing, which I will show later, morphing and hexagonal meshing. Again, I encourage you to check out the documentation. It's great, and it shows a lot of the functionalities that you can do with PyPrimeMesh. So now I will go to my VS Code. I think it's gonna be better than showing a video on the presentation. So I will show an example of how to use PyPrimeMesh. In this case, I'm showing an example of how to mesh and how to connect topology in PyPrimeMesh. And I will show the basic code and how it goes and what each piece of code does. First, we need to launch the service with the code. You don't need to launch it manually. The code will launch it for you. So you just need to call to the launch function, and you will have everything ready to use PyPrimeMesh. You will also need to initialize a model, which at this point will be an empty model, but here we will have the operations that we do and the 3D model that you will be using. Then we have to import the CAD geometry. In this case, we are using one of the examples included in the library, but here you will need to import the file that you want to perform the operations over. And here you import the CAD file. We have several allowed files as input, but in this case, we are using CAD. Then you can perform a review of the part. Once you have imported your model, you can check it out by printing the summary of the parts that are available, and you can show it with this show function that we have implemented. And you can check the model here that you have imported. And after you have all of this, you can proceed to do the PyPrimeMesh operations themselves. Here we do the connection first. As I said before, we have two main ways of performing meshing in PyPrime. We have lose it and we have the low-level API. Here we will be using the low-level API. But basically here we just tell what parameters we need for the connection. In this case are these ones. And yeah, and with this operation, with the scaffold, topo, faces, and beams, we perform the connection between all of the parts of the model. After that, we can proceed with the meshing, and the same philosophy as before. We first set up the parameters for the meshing. Here, we specify which model we are performing the meshing over, and with the size of the meshes and the parameters, whatever you want. And then you just perform the meshing operation with this. You can also perform volume meshes and all of that, but you can check the details of that in the documentation. And yeah, and these are the results. You can see that the part is meshed now. And that's pretty much it, how you use PyPrimeMesh. Finally, you can exit the PyPrime client just to close everything up that you opened at the beginning. And yeah, and that's it from my side. Thanks for your attention.